Hey everyone, if you're in the northern part of the country, well, northern part of the world, it is summertime coming up. And that means projects, right? Things that we can do outside that we couldn't do for several months. Some things we could start already, like certain construction projects, but other things we just couldn't, like gardening in certain parts of the country because we still had frost at night. So it's time to get out and get those projects done. It's time to get out and enjoy the weather. I've got to move my solar panels, for example, to make sure that they're at the proper angle again for the sun, and get in there and put the actuators, mount them in place this year so that I can control them, get them to work. I've got the solar panel array that may or may not go up this year, depending on what the weather is like. I have an electric lawnmower and even the other walking lawnmower. I call it that because you walk and you're the power for that lawnmower. They don't do well when it rains, and we had a lot of rainy weekends, so it's cut into my ability to do certain things. But one thing it has not cut into is something I think we should all do, and that is check in with each other. There's a lot of disturbing things going on, especially in the United States. And it impacts people in different areas differently, some more severely than others. But as human beings, I've always taken that to have the responsibility of being humane to each other. And I know that's, for some groups, an unpopular sentiment. But make sure that the people around you, including yourself, are taking care of your mental health. There's a lot of stressful things going on, a lot of things that can be overwhelming. But if we take the time to take time and prevent that stress from becoming too heavy, too burdensome, that gives us more time to do other things and to take joy out of life. So what I would like you to do is not only take care of your mental health, but keep an eye out for those around you. Make sure they're doing okay too. And if there's people you follow online, check in on their feeds. Are they doing okay? If they're not, is there something you can comment on one of their posts, or something you can come back with and message them to let them know that they are seen and that things are okay or will be okay? What can you do to help alleviate the stress of someone else? If you're a gardener and you've got your garden growing, like I said, mine isn't started. Mine just got started. But you have flowers. How about you just post pictures of flowers for a while? No comments. No words with them. Just go on your Facebook or your Instagram, or make a video for TikTok that's just flowers or birds singing, or pictures of birds, or pictures of butterflies, a bee pollinating a flower. Just life. Beautiful, simple pieces of life. And post them up there for people to see. Find a nice, inspiring quote and make it look fancy and post it up there. Or just post the quote. Find something uplifting, positive, that makes you feel good, and share it with the world. Let everybody else know. It's kind of what I'm trying to do with my bookmarks. Also to make money, but I want the bookmarks to be more than just a pretty bit for going between pages of a book. I want them to be something that you can look at and think about, something that may inspire you, something that may make you feel good, something that may allow you a moment of peace to just look at and reflect. And that's what I'd like to see us do for each other, is just set areas up where people can just look or read, relax, and be at peace. Because I think it's something we're all going to need, especially this year. Other than that, as far as my projects, like I said, I've got to get the actuators up there. Got the flower garden planted. The feeder project is going to have to be rebuilt because I have a very chunky raccoon who decided to walk across it, and the weight was enough to bring the whole thing down. So I need to rework how that structure is put together and supported. And we'll see how the year goes as far as getting the solar tracker project up. If you aren't aware, I'm doing something very different with the solar tracker. So most solar trackers are put in the ground. You put down a concrete base, put the bolts up through the concrete, and bolt this down to that concrete base. Because of the weight and everything else, I'm trying to develop a way to have it be above 8 feet. The reason for that is I don't want to cut my field down. I have a lot of wildlife that needs that protection, or just needs to have something to eat. And so a lot of my property, especially because we're asked until August not to cut anything because of nesting ground birds, and I do have a few of those around here. I let that kind of grow for a while. And it gets kind of jungle-like around my house. I have a lot of fern that like to grow up, which I didn't for a while, but it's now all seems to be back and flourishing. And for those of you who don't know, fern need a moist soil. And that's one thing I have in abundance around me, is while there's clay down below a certain level, I think that clay helps to keep the upper layers of the soil more moist because it helps it retain the moisture a little bit better. And so I've got a lot of that growing around. I also have a lot of vines that I need to get out and cut. So yard work, but I want to bring this up off the ground. I'd like it to be at about 8 feet above ground. just because it can become part of the porch. It will definitely never get have anything in its way blocking the sunlight getting to it, because the plants that have got, as I said, are growing, and because of the growing season that I've got going on now, they're getting rather tall rather quickly. So I'd like to have it above that level, but in order to do that, taking into consideration the fact that we do get high winds on occasion, the panels are hooked into the concrete to help prevent them from being blown over. Right? The wind hits them. Going up to a height requires a different type of structure to hold those panels in place. And I'm not sure if I've got it right or not yet. So I'm still working it out. But the basic premise is going to be a cluster of 4x4s put together as a centerpiece that this will sit on top of and be bolted into. All right. From that, there will be a double cross piece going from one side to the other inside a framed 4x4 arrangement. And what's going to happen is the boards will be attached to that centerpiece and then out to the outside edge. So the framed 4x4s around it will exist with a inner frame of 2x12. Then there will be 4 2x12s notched so that they interlock with each other around the cluster of 4x4s, bolted into the 4x4s and bolted outside to the frame, or screwed outside to the frame. That will give it an outer frame to help prevent it from swaying, as well as the 4x4 cluster to help hold it in place, because that'll be down in the ground and in concrete. In theory, this would hold everything in place and protect it from the winds. I'm just not 100% sure about my theory here, so it might not get put off. It might get put off until next year, because as it starts getting more summer, it gets hotter, which means for me cutting down my work time, because there's certain times of the day that are just too warm for me to be outside working alone on these projects. So may get pushed off till next year now, but we'll see. But I've got enough other projects that I need to work on that the design can percolate in the back of my mind for a couple of months and still be workable. So that's what I got for you guys this week. I will talk to you all next week.